Today on Forbes, shock and awe, how Trump took over Washington and the world in 100 days. 100 days into his second term, the world revolves around Donald Trump. In Europe, nations scramble to bulk up on arms in hopes of defending Ukraine, or perhaps themselves. In Asia, manufacturers strategize where to move production lines without knowing the rules of the game. In Latin America, the tired, poor, huddled masses stay home, sensing that things are different now in the land of liberty. Those inside the United States feel it too, with uncertainty seeping into the most powerful institutions: Wall Street banks, Capitol Hill offices, federal agency headquarters, and private university campuses. Donald Trump, meanwhile, seems happier than ever back on his throne. Andrew Weiss, who worked inside the Trump Organization from 1981 to 2017, says, quote, "He is more relaxed, and he's got more loyal people." And almost all of them are eager to sing his praises. In a statement, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says, quote, "In his first 100 days, President Trump has delivered on hundreds of promises and already accomplished his two most important campaign goals. The border is secure, and inflation is ending." In a role as spokesperson, there's no surprise that she is exaggerating the president's progress on inflation here. Yet the truth is, no one should be surprised by the swift start. Trump's priorities have been clear since the 1980s and 1990s, when the real estate developer spoke up on a few issues that mattered to him. Take international trade. In 1988, Trump scoffed, quote, "It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it." He struck a similar tone on defense spending, saying, quote, "I'd make our allies pay their fair share." Hinting at his thoughts on immigration, he told one associate the United States would not become a majority-minority nation. He said, quote, "It'll never happen. We're not going to become South Africa." With Trump back in the White House, the issues that have long been on his agenda are now on the nation's agenda. Gordon Sondland, who served as ambassador to the European Union during Trump's first term, marvels at the so-called, quote, "shock and awe" start to his second term. He says, quote, "These are fundamental things that he believes and has believed for 3 to 4 decades." It might all be bewildering if Trump had not been so consistent for so long. Decode the president's base instincts, and his first 100 days become more understandable, his remaining 1,362 more predictable. The first thing any president does is pick his people, and Trump has always been attracted to fellow tycoons. Alan Marcus, a communications consultant who worked with Trump in the 1990s, says, quote, "He loves associating with rich guys." Trump named Elon Musk, his biggest donor and the world's richest man, as a special government employee, a designation given to short-term employees that generally allows them to retain their assets. Musk is one of an unprecedented 10 billionaires in the administration. Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency seemed perfectly primed to take on the bureaucracy. Trump, who has long chafed at independent voices, used his first Friday in office to purge a lineup of inspectors general, the watchdogs whose job it was to root out waste, fraud, and abuse, long before Musk showed up. Trump also slashed USAID, which doled out money to help poor countries around the world. And DOGE ran through multiple federal agencies, canceling contracts and firing tens of thousands of government workers. Meanwhile, arrests and deportations were seen in all parts of the country, and Trump's legal team remade the usually independent Department of Justice into a de facto arm of the White House, an unprecedented move. His own house upended, Trump turned to the global stage, hosting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House in February. As cameras captured the disintegration of a wartime alliance on television, Trump said, quote, "You're either going to make a deal or we're out. You don't have the cards." That's how Trump views the world. There are people who matter and people who don't. Sondland explains, quote, "It's very transactional." In March, Trump launched a global trade war, putting global markets on a seesaw. Never one for nuance, Trump plows ahead, his tariff announcements and social media posts moving markets by trillions. The true test for Trump, however, is what comes next. Can a man who forged his political career on grievance, convinced that everyone is ripping off the United States, shift to implementing solutions? For full coverage, check out Dan Alexander's piece on forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.